Okay. Hi, Goyong. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Geyang, currently a junior undergrad at Geyang University, studying computer science. And yeah,
And have you heard that NASA is planning to land people on the moon in 2024?
I was not aware about this until you told me.
And what do you think about that?
I think that's interesting because since like for more than half a century, it's not really mentioned, and I don't know. I heard there are a lot of like conspiracy theories about why NASA is no longer doing that. So I guess it's interesting to send people back there, and I'm like kind of curious what the motivations are sending people back like all of a sudden.
Well, one thing is about 10 years ago, we discovered there's ice on the poles of the moon.
Hmm.
There's like these deep craters, and the moon has no atmosphere. So, over billions of years, as comets have impacted the moon, some of those water molecules have landed into these deep craters. And getting like a pound of material to the moon is like probably cost $100,000, and you need lots of resources to explore the solar system. But I guess the question is, 500 years from now, if you could come back and see humanity, are we still only on the Earth, or do you think we've actually ventured out into the rest of the solar system?
500 years from now,
Uh huh.
like my guess would still be on Earth because I just feel like there's so many unsolved problems on Earth. We're gonna solve all these problems before expanding somewhere else. So I think
Oh, and
when I see
like
we'll probably
what problems come to mind that you think need to be solved first?
I think going exploring space is very I don't know like only like first it costs a lot. So like only the like if we live somewhere else other than the Earth, only the wealthy people can afford it. It's kind of a luxury thing, and there's just like so many like still like people in poverty and all these people we want to get everybody up, get everybody's living quality up to a certain level before we raise the ceiling. I feel like so we gotta tackle all these problems about like how we about just like underprivileged people on Earth that we just gotta solve these problems before we're hitting the people at the top of space.
Well, it's interesting. I guess several things to discuss. One is uh, one reason space travel has been so expensive is because we haven't had reusable rockets. And are you familiar with SpaceX and Elon Musk?
I've heard of such names. I don't exactly know what they do.
Well, most of the, pretty much for the past, 70, 80 years, when you launch something into space, you would build a rocket, put on the tip of it, launch it, and throw away the entire rocket. But SpaceX has been able to reuse like 80% of their rocket, which has allowed for them to really drive down the cost of launching things into orbit. But they're building this huge spacecraft, actually in Texas, down near Mexico, that can launch 100 people at a time into space, and it'd actually be 100% reusable. So it'd be like the cheapest rocket ever. And they're talking about being able to produce like two of these a week, and they would be 100% reusable. So whenever you have economies of scale and you're able to send thousands and thousands and thousands of people, I think that would change things. Let's see. You talked about there's some problems here on Earth, like poverty and equality and those things I think you were talking about. What do you see as the biggest blocker to solving those problems?
Figure what? Sorry.
Oh, you were saying how we needed to solve, address poor
Yeah.
people. I was just curious in what
Um,
you thought was the biggest problem with that. Like, I mean,
I don't know
how
that.
would you go
Not
about solving
exactly.
it?
I don't know, like if people, uh, like many people go to space, is it out of necessity or is it because it's cool? Like, is it kind of a vacation? It's so cool, I want to be there, or is it Earth is so non-livable that we gotta explore other options that we have to like immigrate? I don't know, like if we like go there in 500 years, what's out of what motive like do people go there? So like if it's a if just like avoiding the Earth problems is better than solving Earth problems, then yeah, we can like just everybody should just leave the Earth because it's just so bad living here. But if it's going to the space for fun, then it's kind of leaving all of these poor people behind, and not everybody's gonna be that happy, I guess.
Right. Well, did you know who Jeff Bezos is?
Yeah,
So did you know Jeff Bezos also has a space company?
no, I've
As
only heard about it.
Yeah, it's called Blue Origin, and Jeff Bezos talks about it quite a bit. He actually says that his work he's doing with Blue Origin he feels is going to be more impactful in long run than Amazon because he sees the vision of actually moving all of heavy industry and mining off of Earth, and then kind of keeping Earth as like a garden spot, just for people and for nature, and it would be the place for us to live and try to protect instead of polluting. What do you think about that vision?
I'd say like as the CEO or like as Amazon's boss, he definitely knows more than I do, and I don't know like true or he does it to like promote his like other business, like raise his reputation. I don't know like out of what motive he claims that, but I guess I would believe him. I would believe his vision because I guess he's like top of the world right now.
Well, I guess motives aside, if going to space and developing our space capacity was meant to not because Earth was uninhabitable and not because of people just going for the fun of it, but in order to actually preserve the Earth and to be able to take all those industrial things that we need to do to make society run, like energy production, resource extraction, mining, manufacturing, and actually moved anything that was harmful to the planet off the planet. I mean, does that inspire you? I mean, forget about how unbelievable that might seem right now, but I mean, would that be something you would find compelling?
Yeah, definitely. This all can ideally come true. Definitely a very good idea. Just it does sound unbelievable, and I don't know how technically difficult like it is to achieve that. And I think it's pretty difficult.
Well, do you know how many airline passengers there were in 2001?
No,
Would you believe 3.5 billion?
3.5 billion.
Yeah, not individual people, but actual passengers. So, like frequent flyers might have been counted, 20, 30 times in that number. And then some people might have been counted one time, um,
Yeah, three
but
point five billion
3.5 billion
in 2001.
in 2001.
I don't believe it.
You want to, well, we'll have to look it up. But do you know how many airline passengers there were in 1901?
Oh, very little.
Would you believe zero?
Yes.
And so, okay, so we might need to double check the facts about the upward bound, but I think we could say that airline travel just, and computing and a whole bunch of things just completely went from being unimaginable to everyday type of things like over that period. I mean, now you can literally go around the world within 24 hours. And I think actually that may be part of the problem we're currently in is that people can travel so quickly.
Yeah.
So, if let's say you had a okay, let's say if it was safe and affordable as an airline ticket, would you have any interest in experience like weightlessness or seeing Earth from above?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, I've asked some people that, and they're like, "No, not really interested. Thanks." So, uh, it's not universal. I tell you that.
Uh,
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you. Um, this is like,
thank you for telling me things I like wasn't aware of.
yes, and I'll double check my facts about the 3.5 billion passengers in 2001. We'll see. Okay, well, I'll turn this off.